What's going on, everybody? This is EST 1987 Entertainment with episode 21. I'm Casey.
This is Matt.
And we're going to talk about our movies and TV news. Starting off, get into the games. You know what the topic of the week is? Starfield. Been out for 2 weeks now. We both played it. And we'll get to that here in a little while. First off, we'll start off with our reminders. Gen V, spinoff of The Boys. It starts September 29th on Prime. Basically, college kids, you know, what that could lead into, having powers and whatnot. And you're also going to get cameos from the original Boys cast, some of them anyway. Next off is another spinoff, The Continental, which is a spinoff of the John Wick series, but it's placed in the 70s with Mel Gibson. It's going to be on Peacock. It airs, and it's only going to be like 5 or 6 episodes. It's a mini-series on September 22nd on Peacock. Prime, again, Invincible Season 2. I mean, did you watch Season 1?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of cross anime, American cartoon.
It's a real good show to watch with the family. Good family show, cartoon.
Yeah.
Make sure, especially if you got 4 or 5 year olds, have them check that out.
Yeah, just if you want to like open them up a little early in age, anyway, because it's definitely not for normal parents' kids. But Jonah Jameson plays Omni-Man, and it comes out November 3rd.
Jonah Jameson, is that the voice actor's name?
Yeah, Jonah Jameson played the Daily Bugle, head of the Daily Bugle in the original Spider-Man. He was Gordon in Zack Snyder's Batman Superman universe.
J. Jonah Jameson is the editor in the Spider-Man universe.
Yeah. He's the head of the Daily Bugle.
So he's in... I need to go back and watch the show. So it's actual J. Jonah Jameson in...
He's the voice of Omni-Man.
So it's the same guy who voiced J. Jonah Jameson.
Jonah Jameson is a real guy.
All right, so I'm just pulling up J. Jonah Jameson.
Hold on.
Hold up. Yeah, I think you're because
J.K. Simmons.
Okay, all right.
Sorry.
Now we're getting there.
J.K. Simmons. I apologize. You know, it's one of those JJs. But anyway, he plays Omni-Man's voice. His son ends up inheriting powers. Everybody thinks he's good at first. The whole world thinks he's good, but really he's just kind of conditioning people to take over the world. As they find out in the end.
He's a McAsshole.
Yeah, but it's pretty brutal, man. Some of the fight scenes, it's gory, but go check it out. Hunger Games, Ballad of the Snakes and Songbirds, November 17th. Like we've said before, I'm going to wait on that one because I've already seen them and they've waited so long that I don't think it's going to be any different than the other ones. I don't think they're going to bring anything new to the table because it's a prequel as well, and it's just going to show the beginning of the Hunger Games.
Do we know the actors? Anybody major in this?
It's Stanley Tucci again, and they just kind of CGI him to look younger.
I love Stanley Tucci.
He's the announcer.
Yeah, I love Stanley Tucci.
So yeah. He's an amazing actor.
What is it called? Hunger Games, Ballad of Snakes and Songbirds, or something?
Yeah, something like that. Ballad of the Songbirds and Snakes.
All right, I'll check. You can go. I'm gonna pull up and see if I notice anybody.
Anyway, so a few movies I've watched recently that we've talked about coming out, and now they've come out. Jules with Ben Kingsley, kind of an artsy, mellowed movie. Basically, an alien lands in his backyard. He's kind of senile, goes to town council meetings all the time, says the same thing over and over every time. And nobody really listens to him because he's just kind of, like I said, going senile. He's older, not really taken seriously. So he goes to another town meeting after the alien lands in his backyard, and nobody believes him, of course. Calls 911, nobody believes him. A couple of his friends come by and actually end up stumbling upon the alien and kind of helping him because the alien is trying to fix his ship throughout the movie. Not really too sci-fi-ish. Just more of a story about a guy that's having issues. His daughter's trying to help him because he's misplacing things, and trying to help the alien fix his ship and take off. It was a really good, mellow, feel-good movie, kind of. I thought it was a good watch, just not something to get overly excited to watch. Just kind of...
Just a chill,
yeah,
easy Sunday watch.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just a heads up before we move on. The next thing, Rachel Ziegler, Jason Schwartzman, and Viola Davis are going to be in this new Hunger Games movie.
Viola Davis is in everything lately.
So, but I'm just saying, like, because you were kind of not looking forward to it too much. Jason Schwartzman doesn't say yes to a whole lot.
No.
And Viola Davis, really, outside of, if you want to call Suicide Squad movies bad, like, but outside of that, like, she doesn't. She's
but I thought she played a good Amanda Waller. So
no, I didn't dislike the
Suicide
Squad movies. So like I'm just saying, I know a lot of people do. So that being the caveat, like she's pretty choosy as well, just like Jason Schwartzman is with the movies that they choose to do. So unless maybe just the paycheck was too big to turn it down, but like I kind of just seeing the cast kind of brings my expectations and hopes up for that movie just a little bit more.
So I mean we talked about that recently as well. Like I went back and watched both Suicide Squads recently, going back to the original with Will Smith, and I liked it when it came out, and then I guess I started getting the media in my head of everybody hating on it, that I was like, all right, it wasn't that great. That was a good ass movie. Like I don't care what y'all say, like the original Suicide Squad, I will tell you that the worst part about that movie was they didn't go in depth enough with Jared Leto's Joker and Will Smith's Deadshot.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. But all the other characters were awesome.
Another caveat here is like, as far as comic books and stuff like that go, I'm not really... The Suicide Squad wasn't really on my radar. Yeah. So I kind of just went into this not knowing a whole lot about each one of those characters, and I thought it was both of them really pretty enjoyable movies. I think where the hate kind of comes from, and I mean there were parts where obviously it could have been better, but I think a lot of the hate is from people who, like the real comic book fans of the Suicide Squad and those characters, they were hoping for a little bit more out of those characters. But if you go into those movies not really knowing a whole lot in general about them, I thought it was just like, if it, at the very least, serviceable to good on both those movies. So,
well, DC is really bad about the directors going in, making the movie in depth with the characters and things like that, but then cutting all the character building out of it. Mm-hmm. So there is an Ayer cut, who directed, David Ayer. Don't know if it'll see the light of day, but James Gunn has entertained it. So hopefully they do that one day, like a director's cut, like they did with Justice League, Zack Snyder. So
yeah, you always hear when the Warner Brothers movie, when the Warner Brothers movie comes out, executives who really play no part in movie making stuff have always gone in there and
changed it to how they want it.
Yeah, and seemingly ruined quite a few what would have seemed to have been great movies, and just, I don't know, made it like what am I trying to say here? Just cut out. Goodness gracious!
They try to make it very PR friendly, for one thing.
Well, they're just trying to make a cookie cutter instead of, you know what I mean? Like instead of letting these directors who invested time in researching these characters or know these characters tell the story they want to tell, they go in and they're like, no, we need it to be this, we need it to be slimmed down, trimmed up, get rid of all this exposition and the stuff that makes you want to invest in the characters. Just give me action. And that seems to be, I'm hoping that with this whole James Gunn thing, James Gunn's going to be the head of that. He knows how to tell, he knows how to tell a good story, especially with these kind of comic book superhero type stories. So hopefully he can kind of keep those boardroom executives out of the actual movie making process and and hopefully they'll give him enough trust with what he's done in Marvel already.
Yeah.
And
well, he's the head of the creative side of it now, so he has 2 things written already. He's got the Superman that's coming out in 2025, and Creature Commandos, which is an animated, coming out next year. He's already got it written. They just can't start filming anything.
I'm excited for this
until
Superman.
The strike's over, but we're not getting into the strike again. We've already talked about it enough.
I'm super pumped for his Superman. Like, I'm not as far as DC goes, like, I'm Batman all the way. Like, Superman, like, I enjoy him in the universe and stuff, but like, not my biggest enjoyment movie wise, because the same thing that everybody says about Superman. He's invincible, this and you know what I mean. He's untouchable. So like, Superman hasn't been my favorite character, but I'm super excited to see what James Gunn does with him.
Anyway, so we just went off on a tangent.
Sorry, that's my fault.
That's what we're here for. Circling them back to Jules Ben Kingsley. You can rent it right now for like $6 on multiple platforms, or I'm sure it will be streaming on something soon. Going next into No Hard Feelings with Jennifer Lawrence, J-Law. We both love Jennifer Lawrence. Any interview I've seen, she's goofy, she's fun. This is probably the raunchiest thing she's done, though, as far as movies goes. She kind of has commitment problems, goes from relationship to relationship. She's overall a good person, just doesn't want to like settle down with anybody. But she's kind of losing her house because she can't afford to pay the taxes, so they repo her car, and she's an Uber driver. So she ends up seeing an ad in the paper with Matthew Broderick is the dad, actually putting this ad in the paper to date their son and kind of open him up without getting too graphic before he goes off to college, and they'll give her a car. So she agrees to it, goes on a few dates, and any other story you've heard like this, they end up starting to actually like each other, and she starts to feel bad about it, but then he ends up finding out that she wasn't doing it just because she wanted to. Really good movie. It was funny, had good giggles in it. I wouldn't say like slap your knee kind of funny like 21 Jump Street or anything like that, but it was an overall cute, funny movie.
Just looking it up, sitting at like a 71%, I think, on Rotten Tomatoes. So
yeah, 7.5 on IMDb.
Yeah, it's kind of like you were saying. Everybody seems to be in the same boat with this one. Like, not great, not horrible, but like good fun watch is what I was kind of seeing out of what I just looked up there. So
yeah, well, these kind of movies can go south really, really quick, and I wasn't too sure about it at first, but like I said, it's a different side of Jennifer Lawrence that you haven't seen before.
That girl can act her ass off. Like, she can do serious, she can do drama, she can do. She's done sci-fi. She kind of kills it at everything.
Yeah. Don't
Look Up, I think, is probably my favorite movie she's ever done. Like, she's amazingly funny in that one. Her and Jonah Hill going back and forth was that I go back just to watch some of those scenes sometimes because it's so funny.
Have you seen her with Zach Galifianakis in Between the Ferns? Mm-hmm. 2 Ferns? Oh my God, dude, that shit is hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh man. Anyway, so No Hard Feelings. Jennifer Lawrence. There's another actor in it. He played in High School Musical. He's a really good singer. You'll see in the movie. But he hasn't been in much other stuff, so you probably wouldn't know him if I said his name. Either way, hopefully this is a start for something for him to kind of go a little further.
One of these guys?
That guy, Andrew.
Andrew Barth?
Yeah.
We're not the High School Musical crowd, so Andrew Barth Feldman is who he's talking about. So.
Yeah. Anyway, A Million Miles Away, another Prime. It is out to watch right now. It is Michael Pena. This is the story of Jose Hernandez, who is the first immigrant Mexican farmer to go into space and play Mexican music, which was his dream when he was a kid. He gets a degree in electrical engineering. He has his pilot's license, diving license, all this while still maintaining a normal everyday 9-to-5 job because his ultimate goal is to get into NASA. And on his 12th entry application, he finally gets accepted and goes into space. Very good. That's
impressive. That's just impressive.
Yeah. So this is another thing that's really good for the Hispanic culture. Actually getting their name out there and to be proud of them. Not that you weren't to be proud of them before,
amongst other things. With all the other things.
Well, this guy.
It's the one thing they got.
Well, this guy. This movie is all about his NASA journey. This guy is also critical in nuclear safety protocols in the United States. He helped create the mammography machine that helped detect breast cancer in an earlier stage than the current ones that were in the early 1900s. He's got his own wine company now. He's got his own restaurant. So, I mean, coming from nothing, coming from Mexico, and their family just going out and picking the fields, it just goes to show you that if you want it bad enough and you go for it, you'll get it. So that's kind of what I took away from this movie, man. Seeing all the hardships he went through, on top of having 4 kids and a wife.
So you're trying to tell me this guy's kind of impressive?
Yeah, this guy's impressive.
All right. No, I did actually, after you told me about it, because I hadn't heard anything about this movie up until you brought it up to me, but I put it on my watch list, so when I get some free time, I'm definitely checking that one out.
Yeah. So it's a feel-good, you cry, you laugh kind of movie. So anyway, speaking of DC, watched Blue Beetle finally. I thought it was going to be a good movie, fun movie, judging by the trailer, and it did not disappoint, honestly. So, not sure where you thought I was going with that, but this movie was awesome. It's another Hispanic other cultures
Hispanic-led cast and
Hispanic-led cast. A lot of times they're speaking Spanish in it, and the family, man. He has his mom, his dad, his uncle, his grandma, just really supportive. They kind of made you smile through the whole thing because they kind of followed him around. Just really family-oriented movie. And then the action when he did get the Blue Beetle was awesome. I'll kind of compare it to a funnier Iron Man. That's kind of the tech it has.
The action in the trailers looked amazing. The trailers made me want to go see it. I don't know why I didn't end up going to. I guess just because we had talked about it before. So much to do, man. So much. I mean, so much to watch, so much to see, and they Warner Brothers kind of killed it with. All right, we're resetting. You know what I mean? We've talked about it before. We're resetting everything. So just my
expectations just weren't there.
Well, it's
I don't know how I feel about Aquaman coming out. Honestly,
I've gotten to that point with DC where it's like I'll wait. I'll stream it when it comes out. There's no reason to go make a day of going to see this movie. Once everything resets and we're building the universe again, now I'll go check it all out. But I kind of was expecting this movie to be good just based on the little bit that I had heard about it, the trailers that I had watched. So I'm glad to hear that you watched it and enjoyed it. I'm definitely going to check it out. I'm ready for the whole reset, reboot of this whole universe to be done, and just we're in it. You know what I mean? And I feel bad.
We gotta get through Aquaman for that first, but
I feel bad for the cast and everything of this movie. That their movie fell at this time when it did, because if it's as good as you say it is, and everybody
it was good.
Yeah,
but it bombed.
Know. Yeah,
because nobody wants to go see the stories if they're not leading into something more anymore.
Yeah, well, these movies are made to be continued and brought into a universe. So when you take that whole universe that's supposed to be built into away, James
Gunn said that this is the first character to lead into his new DCEU, though. So, again, like I said before, though, on a previous, he's probably just saying that to get you to go see it. But hopefully the guy from Cobra Kai did an amazing job, and I can't wait. It has George Lopez in it as well, Susan Sarandon. Good movie, fun movie.
I hope for the casting, especially for the newer actors like George Lopez, Susan Sarandon, they're going to be fine.
Yeah, George Lopez was hilarious.
Yeah, but for the newer cast who are just getting in, this was probably supposed to be their big break and getting into it, and it hurts me for them that it didn't pick up and wasn't what it was supposed to be. But is Zolo?
Yeah, we tried to say his name before. Zolo
Dania.
Yeah.
I 100% apologize. I don't know how. It's Xolo is his first name.
Zolo
or something.
Yeah, all right, now we're just sounding dumb.
Yeah.
Not that we aren't already.
But is that who you're talking about?
Yeah.
Great job.
Yeah, Cobra Kai, man.
So good on him.
So great movie. All right, so now we're moving on to some new stuff. The Burial comes out on Prime October 6th. It is a true story in New Orleans with Tommy Lee Jones, Jamie Foxx, Journey Smollett, and Alan Ruck. Journey Smollett is the Black Canary in Birds of Prey. Harley Quinn. Jamie Foxx, Tommy Lee Jones don't need introduction. Journey Smollett actually is getting to that point as well. She was in Lovecraft Country with Jonathan Majors on HBO, which I'm still pissed they canceled that show. But it's the true story of Joseph O'Keefe's and Willie E. Gary. Willie E. Gary, Jamie Foxx, was a lawyer for Joseph O'Keefe's. He had a funeral home, which another company, Lowen Funeral Company, nationwide, came in and bought it from him, but didn't deliver the money by the deadline. Turned around and sued him. Won about $100 million and then another $400 million. And it just looks like an overall good story. They were kind of prejudiced at the time as well. Didn't know what this black lawyer was going to do for them. Everybody was kind of talking down to him for hiring him and all that kind of stuff. And Jamie Foxx came in and just blew the socks off of everybody, impressed everybody, and did a really good job. And I'm just getting all this from the trailer and just a little bit of research. So
when did you say this comes out on Prime?
October 6th on Prime.
Okay.
True story.
So we're getting the good thing is we're getting some stuff steadily coming out. Like there's been stuff to watch recently where we talked about it before, but we're gonna hit a wall. So hopefully they have some good stuff, and like this does look good, sounds good to me, and I'll watch anything with Jamie Foxx in it. So
dude, Prime's been kicking it up lately with stuff coming out. I think I'm actually gonna get rid of HBO Max for a little while until stuff starts building back up on it. But Prime's got a lot of stuff coming out.
Yeah, HBO Max is haven't been.
I guess watching it, dude. I used to watch it constantly.
They've been putting stuff out, but it's just not necessarily the kind of
just another Warner Bros.
It's not my type of shows.
Yeah,
but they'll come back around. They got what do we got? Still got Game of Thrones on there, or whatever the new one's called.
House of Dragons.
House of Dragons on there.
I tried to watch that. I've tried to watch that 5 or 6 times. Couldn't get through the first episode.
Dude, I thought it was great.
It was so serious. I'm just having a hard time getting it through my head that it's not going to end like Game of Thrones did. So they're going to tell this great story and then just shit the bed on the ending.
Well, I think they probably went in with a little bit better plan on this one, and those guys, we don't have to get into the whole Game of Thrones. Everybody knows how that ended.
Well,
I mean,
we're going to, because it's the same writers for this show. And when people complain about the ending of Game of Thrones, they actually went on Twitter and commented, "Why don't you write the ending yourself then?" So they were kind of shitty response about it. But
what else is on? The Last of Us show, I think is great.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to get rid of it and probably pick it up again next year when more stuff's coming out, things like that.
There's stuff on there, but
there's too many.
But HBO Max, whatever you want to call it, it is a very all right, get rid of it until my one. It's 1, 2, or 3 shows, and that's it. And they have stuff for everybody, but I feel like it's probably like that for everybody. It's very genre specific. And unless you're into just all those genres, all the shows are good. I think, Euphoria, I believe, is on there. A lot of people really like Euphoria. That's going to be delayed
for a little while because the writer strike and because that Angus Cloud actor died. So,
but they got stuff on there. It's whether or not it's for you. One question I did want to ask: did you ever finish Twisted Metal?
No, I haven't.
I haven't finished it either, but I'm about to jump back into it because people are people are saying it was great. For what it is, it was great. And I enjoyed what I saw of it already. So
yeah, I mean, I've said it before, like, it's hard for me to keep up with week-to-week shows, but I started 3, maybe 4 of them. And the problem is that when I start watching week-to-week, I forget what I'm supposed to be watching. And I was just actually talking with Raylan about this last night or the night before, because Invasion, for example, I keep forgetting about. So right now I'm going back. Foundation's done, and I'm going back and watching the second season of Foundation, because I had kept up with like 3 episodes week to week, but right now it's done. So I'm just going to binge that, find one of the other shows that's finally done, binge that, because that way I know that's what I need to watch until I'm done watching it.
Yeah.
Versus the week to week thing.
Well, I'm going to finish up Twisted Metal, because I do want to finish watching that, because I was impressed for what it is. Foundation, you keep talking about it. Apparently a lot of people are starting to get into Foundation a lot.
It is good.
I started it. I didn't think it was bad by any means. Just I had read the books. I thought the books were better, but I didn't get far enough into it. Maybe it did pick up and got better and better as it went. So I'll go watch that, because I love that universe of the Foundation. Isaac Asimov, one of his books, so a lot of people know who that is, prolific sci-fi writer. The books are great. I'm going to go pick that show back up and check it out, because I keep hearing better and better things as it, has progressed, so I'll check that out.
It gets pretty complex, too, though. Like, who's where and what time, because
it
has to do with time differences a lot.
I was a little worried about that, because as you're reading the book, you can go back and flip the page back and be like, okay, where did this guy come from? Where was he at? Like, shows, you got to kind of pay attention, and I'm got 3 kids running around in the house while I'm trying to watch, so you can lose track real easily.
So next up is Apple. It's Lessons in Chemistry, coming out October 13th. Brie Larson, Beau Bridges, Jeff Bridges' brother, which he shouldn't need introduction, but been a little less than Jeff Bridges. Lewis Pullman, which is Bill Pullman's son. He also played Bob in Top Gun. He played the son in Outer Range with Josh Brolin. But this is based in the 50s. This lady, Brie Larson, it's a fictional story, but based on real things from that time frame. She wanted to be a chemist, but she got invited onto a TV show, a cook show, when they first started all the cook shows and stuff, and really started woman empowerment while she was doing it. Like, why are we constantly doing this stuff? How was our day not harder than the man's? Why do we have to have dinner ready whenever he's home? That kind of stuff. I mean, there's more to it. Watch the trailer. It's out.
And she did it while hosting a cooking show?
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah, so she started her little speeches and stuff like that while hosting a cooking show, and just kind of used it as a platform for woman empowerment, because it's definitely around that time frame, like the woman's in the kitchen and woman's got to do the laundry and all that kind of stuff, but that's nonsense. Anyway, October 13th, Lessons in Chemistry, Apple. Disney Group Season 2, The Little Shorts, is on Disney right now. Go check it out if you want to. There's like 5 or 6 episodes each season, and they're only like 5 or 6 minutes long.
Definitely something cute to watch if you got 20 minutes before you got to leave for work or something. Those are perfect for that. Like he said, just real, like they're just shorts, like the Pixar animation shorts, but I think they're cute. They're kind of funny. Like, they're good little watches, and it's like nothing you have to invest too heavily time-wise. So,
I don't have a lot of information about this next one, but it's coming out on Netflix. It's called Reptile, September 22nd. It stars Benicio del Toro, who's amazing in everything he's in. Justin Timberlake, who's amazing in everything he's in and does and sings. And Alicia Silverstone, who, like we were talking about, just kind of pops her head up out of the hole every once in a while.
Every 10 years, she pops back up, and he's like, oh, shit, I forgot about her. Where'd she go? And then she does something, and then goes back to... I think she's just big into her family and stuff, so she does, she...
Same with...
It's like, all right, like, I need to get out of the... Like, I need to get away from the kids, get away from the house. I've been, taking care of them. Let me go do some work, and then it's like, all right, I got my little break. I'm going to go back and, like... I think that's awesome. I think that's really cool, and it's cool that... she's got the name recognition enough to be able to do that too. Because I know a lot of people can't do that. Like, she's made her money. Cool, be with your family, do all that stuff, and then come back, do something awesome, and then go back to doing what you do.
Yeah. Another actor that did that was Rick Moranis. Rick Moranis, the dad from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids and Little Shop of Horrors and all that kind of stuff. The coach on Little Giants. After his wife died, he retired just to take care of his kids and stayed doing that for forever and just kind of pops up every once in a while.
Yeah. Cool thing for him to do. Like any normal family, like that's something you expect, but a lot of those folks in Hollywood, they're so invested in their careers and stuff like that, you don't see it happen a lot. So props to him for
hell, I mean, there's some folks in Hollywood that can't even have the kids themselves because they don't want to mess up their body. I understand it when you got to do it for medical reasons, but it's Benicio del Toro plays a cop. He's searching for a gruesome murderer, and it kind of starts messing with his head and kind of starts losing his mind at the same time. Like I said, I don't have a whole lot of other detail other than it's a badass cast, and it's Netflix. It's free if you already have it.
Did you say a release date? Or
yeah, September 22nd.
September 22nd. So that's coming up soon too, yeah.
Friday. The next thing is, and the final thing, we've talked about it before. There's more detail about it now. Gladiator 2. It's been a rumor for years. But it is finally a thing. It has a cast attached to it. Denzel Washington, Pedro Pascal, Connie Nielsen, Paul Mescal, Djimon Hounsou, who we've talked about several times, and several other actors.
Same director as well?
Yeah, it's Ridley Scott.
Yeah, I'm pumped for this one.
Yeah, so
Denzel's gonna crush this shit. Denzel's gonna crush this shit.
Yeah, I'm curious who he's playing, honestly, because it doesn't really say that yet. It says who Connie Nielsen is playing. She's Lucilla, who was, what was his name? Commodore. It was Joaquin Phoenix.
His character, basically.
His sister.
Mm-hmm.
His incestuous sister. And Lucius is Paul Mescal. Lucius is the son of Maximus, which is not really clarified in the first movie.
No. I think it's somewhat hinted. Yeah. I don't think I necessarily took it as that when I watched it the first time, but if you go back and rewatch it again, there is that hint that it kind of is. Like, or may not be his son as well.
Yeah, which they kind of left a lot of that story out because the whole movie you think that his wife and kid his wife and kid were murdered, and that's why he's going through his vengeance on trying to get back to Joaquin Phoenix. But there was no definite timeline of when he got with his sister, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway.
But I'll tell you this. You have Ridley Scott directing. I cannot wait to see Denzel Washington across the screen from Pedro Pascal and Connie Nielsen and just watch the three of them just, like, destroy the whole scene. You know what I mean? Like, just for that, not to mention Gladiator is one of my favorite movies of all time. So if they can even remotely pull off what they pulled off with the original Gladiator and this and come close to that at least, I'm super, super excited for this. Yeah,
and I mean, he's not listed, but I'm sure at some point there will be some kind of cameo from Russell Crowe.
You would think so, at least like a flashback or something
like that. So,
and again, Djimon Hounsou, so glad he's coming back because he was amazing in the original Gladiator. He's amazing in everything he does. Like I just
we've talked about him before. He's in everything.
Yeah, I like seeing him on screen, and I especially like seeing him in like these epics as well. So I'm getting the more and more we talk about it, the more excited I get about this.
I believe it was supposed to come out next year, but November of next year. But
it'll be pushed back.
Who knows at this point? So anyway, this is actually a redo of this episode because I don't know if I had a stroke during it the first time.
He had a case of the
I was saying every 5 seconds. So our second half is actually going to be about games. And we'll be wearing different clothes there. So just kind of had to redo the first of this before I caught on to me saying constantly.
I did want to bring up the one kind of thing I had for movies and TVs. I think it was in this section as well that we're redoing. Yeah. The Changeling with Lakeith Stanfield and Clark Backo. Lakeith Stanfield plays the husband. Clark Backo is the wife. I am on episode 3 or 4 as of right now. I think episode 5 comes out Friday. This show, I will say, starts off. Episode 1's a little bit slower. Towards the end of episode 1, episode 2, this shit kicks off and gets nutty and crazy, and I'm loving it. So if you haven't had a chance to see that or see any, I don't want to give anything away because I don't really know where the story's going yet. Like I said, I'm only a few episodes in, but check it out. It's awesome. Let me see where it's available, just in case.
So you've watched more of it since then? Is it sci-fi-ish?
No. Well, no. It's not. It's more.
I'm just curious about the name, The Changeling, because it's kind of old folklore.
Yeah. Well, it is. The Lakeith Stanfield's character is a bookseller, so he goes and finds rare books and stuff and sells it. Clark Backo, who plays his wife, is a librarian, so there's a lot of like old folklore based on books and stuff in this. Basically it starts. The craziness starts once they have their child, and Clark Backo kind of loses it. Not kind of loses it. She straight up fucking loses it. But where I'm at, witches and stuff is kind of being brought in. Whether or not everybody's just going crazy and it's real or not, you don't know.
Yeah.
But the shit's cool. It's intense. There's a lot of mystery involved. It's a great watch. I'm loving it so far. I will update more as I get further and further through. I will do my best not to do any spoilers because, like I said, I don't know. That's why I don't want to say too much because I don't know. Even though it doesn't seem spoilery now, having not finished it, whether that it's going to come back and be like, oh shit, shouldn't have said that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But check it out.
Check it out. By the name, I don't want to say too much, but if you know what Changeling is, there's a movie with Angelina Jolie called The Changeling. If you know the ending of that, I'm curious if this is the same way. I'm not going to say it just because I don't want to spoil this. If you know, you know. That show, Icelandic show that I talked about, Katla, where the people were coming out of the volcano ash, was about changelings as well in the end. So just curious if it's that or if they're just kind of misleading you and it does end up being a mental thing.
Right. So, but it's on Apple TV, so it's week to week. Like I said, I believe it's episode 5 coming out this coming Friday. So check it out. It's probably my top favorite show out right now. So
yeah. So anyway, like I said, we're going to jump into the games here. Excuse the transition and the different clothes, but I made a oopsie on the first half during the first take. So appreciate y'all.
Later. Other than that, that's all I got movies and TV wise. We can jump into the
game.
Big topic of the week. Obviously, Starfield is out. If you are into games, video games at all, which you probably are if you're listening to this, if you haven't heard the discourse on Starfield, obviously it's back and forth. There's been a mix. There's been people mad about certain reviews being lower than they expected it to be, things of that nature. I'm going to give you my feelings on it right now. I'm feeling I've beaten the game. We'll say that I'm 48 hours in. I've got 48 hours time played in this game, which is more time than I have, but that's how much I'm liking it. I'm just staying up way too late to play this game. So yeah, 8.5 out of 10 for me, which is about in line or maybe a little bit higher than some of your lower end scores, a little bit lower than some of your higher end scores, but that's where I'm leaving it because there are definite plus and minuses. I have heard criticisms on it. I'll start with the criticisms. Number one being for me, this is what's bothering me, and I'm not a huge Bethesda RPG guy. So I kind of expected to go in having some issues with it and things like that. A lot of what I thought would be a problem for me hasn't ended up being a problem. And I think because I was able with it being set in this sci-fi universe and stuff, that just kind of, I was able to overlook some of the things that bothered me in Skyrim and Fallout and things like that. But one big thing that has bothered the hell out of me is having no mini map in your big cities. Like any of the big cities you go to, like I want to be able to land, go to Neon, and all right, this is where I can go sell supplies. This is where I can go buy guns. This is where I can go buy ammo. This is where I can go get health supplies.
That annoys me too, because I pull up at the map all the time while I'm in this city, just trying to see where I can go. And like you said, you don't know where to go. You have to remember where to go, like where to run to when you're in a city.
Yeah, and I mean, there's signs posted around and stuff like that, but like, I don't want to have to read a sign in a video game, you know, like a real street sign. Like, it's just...
Yeah, I wish you could go in the map and set a waypoint to be able to walk to, and then it takes you there, like kind of like GTA.
Yeah, and these cities are big. Like, they're big, and they're multiple levels. Like, it's some are like 4 stories, and you know what I mean? Like, so that's one of my main issues with it. The second issue I have with it is you do spend a lot of time in menus. You spend a lot of time, hey, I need to go to this planet. What mission do I need next? All right, you go through your mission menus. All right, this is the mission I want to do next. All right. Now I need to figure out where on my star map I need to go to complete this mission, set my course. That takes you to another menu to get to see where the planet is. All right, do I have enough grav drive in order to make it to that planet? All right, I don't. So now I need to go back up into my galaxy menu to see what you know what I mean. So because you have to have a certain amount of grav drive in order to make it to
this planet over here. But then I got to figure out what planets to go to first to make it over there.
And I was able to kind of negate some of that by finishing a mission that gave me a ship that pretty much got me through towards the end of the campaign. Pretty much got it through the whole game where I didn't have to worry about grav drive limits and things like that. So I can see where if you didn't do that mission or didn't unlock that ship or unlock another ship or steal a ship or something like that, that kind of took off the handbrake basically to get me to where I needed to go for most of the campaign. I can see that getting really frustrating where it's like, all right, I got to go to this planet now before I can get to this planet before, you know what I mean? I can see that being frustrating.
Yeah,
but it had, like I said, it wasn't. Here's the thing: you can play this game in 500 different ways. If you go and talk to one different person than I talked to at the beginning of the game, your whole playthrough is going to be completely different.
And depending on your response to that person.
Right. Which, at the same time, is amazing and awesome and everything you want out of an RPG anyway. Like, it's a little universe, and it's cool as shit. Let's see.
I was never expecting this game to be this big, honestly.
I
knew it was going to be a big game, but there's 1,000 different planets with several different places on that planet that you can land and discover things off of those landing sites. On top of having different interactions with all those different people on the 1,000 planets, and it's crazy. Like, I never imagined it was going to be this big. I don't see how that guy... He must have done... the streamer you were talking about, he must have done the story 3 times. That's it. There's no way he played this whole game 3 different times, as much as there is to do.
Oh, yeah. No, there's no way. No, I don't...
never be able to finish this game, I don't think.
You play for years and years and years. There's going to be downloadable content. I'm trying to think if there's any other real negatives on my end.
I'll go with I'll talk off your menu negative. So one thing I do not like about being in the menu a reason you have to be in the menu all the time. So if you're picking up random guns, unless they're in a weapons case, it doesn't show you when you're highlighting a gun to pick it up if it's better than the one you currently have or not.
Yeah, I've noticed that. It hasn't bothered me.
Like, you have to go in the menu to check the stats of that gun to see if it's better than the one you have, unless you're getting it from a weapons case. If you're getting it from a weapons case, when you highlight over it, it tells you this is down damage, this is up in mass, that kind of stuff. So that's the negative I have, is I'm constantly having to research my different weapons on which one's better.
And that kind of brings me into, I would say, my last negative, and it's an expectation, I guess, at this point, especially in a Bethesda game, but the encumbrance. Really, I understand it. I know it makes sense, but it's really more of an annoyance than adding to immersion. Like, the fact that you can only carry so much. And that brings like all of this ties together. The encumbrance with the menus, with the fast traveling and things like that. It all ties together. That the encumbrance is such a hamper on gameplay because, especially in these games, because you want to pick up everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then especially with like what you're saying is if you have to pick up a gun in order to go and then go through your menu to see if it's better, I've already got to pick it up. Now, do I have to drop it in order to not reach my encumbrance point? Things like that. It's a bunch of what I feel like small, fixable problems in an otherwise
for sure.
Pretty,
I'm sure they'll update it.
Yeah, pretty amazing game. They've already said they're working on. I've already seen tweets that they sent out saying they're working on getting a mini map in the game for your at the very least for your major cities. So like when you go to Neon, when you go to New Atlantis, things like that. They are working on a mini map. The encumbrance thing I've kind of overcome as I've progressed through the game just by upping my essentially what is like stamina or something so I can carry more. Knowing that you have the basically you have a safe in your room at the lodge. If you don't already know this, that safe is unlimited. You can put as much stuff as you want in there. So anytime I go to a planet, I collect resources and I have to go. I'm at the point in the game where you go do something, you come back to the lodge now. So I'll go do it, get my whatever it is. I don't want to give it away. Get whatever it is, collect my resources and stuff. I immediately, when I go to the lodge, I put everything that I'm not using into that safe until I'm ready to do some upgrades or do some research or something like that to actually use those. So after I've gotten to that point, you kind of figure out your own fixes in this game.
Yeah, so I've started filling up Vasco, filling up myself or whatever teammates with me, not teammate, but whoever I have by my side. Mm-hmm. I fill them up, fill myself up, go back to the ship. I've filled up my storage on the ship, on the lockers, the cabinets locker, the regular storage locker, and then whatever else I want to go leave. My ship floor is full of shit. You can drop all your guns and stuff just on the floor, and they're with you wherever you go. So that way, when I go and land back in Atlantis or wherever I'm going to sell stuff, I go on my ship floor, pick everything back up, and go to the kiosk and sell it.
Mm-hmm. So, now, that kiosk...
I didn't realize, because I've done this twice now, and I'm like, why is it not giving me money? Did not realize that you had to pay attention to vendor credits, and they'll only give you that much money.
That New Atlantis vendor has 5,000 credits. Once you sell $5,000 worth of stuff, it's not going to give you any more.
Yeah, so I gave them like $10,000 worth of stuff and got $5,000, and I didn't even pay attention. I think I didn't get any the last time. I didn't know to pay attention to that. And
it does each time you go to sell something after that vendor runs out of credit. It does pop up a little thing that says this vendor has no credits to give you. You will be sad.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot to pay attention to. So.
But I think
the other thing I do not like about it is sometimes when you go into the kiosk or when you go into Vasco, it tells you, it says sell, press A, right?
Uh-huh.
So I go in there and I'm going through the menu and I'm like clicking on stuff to sell, right? Not realizing I'm in the buy menu.
Well, it should say sell. If it says sell up top, you're selling.
You got to pay attention at the bottom right hand side. It says buy or sell. But when you walk up to the machine, it says sell, press A. So I go in there and then start selling shit, not realize I'm actually buying it. So
I haven't ran into that problem.
Yeah. So you really got to pay attention to those. And pay attention on the bottom right-hand screen if you're in your inventory or in the kiosk inventory or Vasco's inventory. And just realize that while you're at it, you can also, even in Vasco, I'm sure you know, since you know everything about this game, even if you're in Vasco, you can access the ship's inventory even if you're not at the ship.
Mm-hmm.
So you got 3 different sub-screens whenever you go into somebody to trade or sell or whatever.
It doesn't. It's definitely not a holding your hand type of game. Like, it expects you to figure this stuff out.
Yeah.
Now, the good thing with that though is like there's nothing you can really screw up. Enough to be like, oh, well, I did that. Now the game's ruined for me. The game's so big, so vast. You got honestly years worth of content to do. You can go back. You like you said, you got $10,000 worth of stuff. It's so easy to go pick up $10,000 more of shit to sell.
Well, not only that, but if something like that does happen to you, go to your save screen and load the last checkpoint, and you got your stuff all back.
Oh, so I do a lot
you can go backwards if you feel like you did mess something out. It's not permanent.
I do a manual save pretty much before I go do anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you don't want to. I'm trying to hook up with old Andreja or whatever, so if I do something that pisses her off, I'll load my whole save back up so she's happy with me again.
You can start a romance dating in this game, actually, as well.
And Andreja's going to be my wife at some point in this game. The last little thing that I kind of hear people talking about is the NPC faces and stuff don't look that great. I'll say this: the main story NPCs that you have to talk to for the stories, I think look great for a game this size. And I think that's what you got to realize too. The scope of this game is huge. It's not going to look like a linear. It's not going to look the same as a linear game. They've got so many NPCs everywhere. You go, 1,000 planets. Everywhere you go, you can pretty much run into an NPC for the most part. There are empty planets, but even on the planets that are empty and void of like human life, there's alien creatures and stuff like that. So there's so much going on in this game.
For there being as much as there is to do and as many places as there is to go, I'm thoroughly impressed by the graphics.
Yeah.
Like, this game is, like I said, massive. Like, it's never ending. And for them to have that much detail in each spot you land, I think is awesome.
Yeah. And I'm not a photo mode type guy. So I know a lot of people like to go in and take photos and upload them and stuff. It's never been my thing to like take photos, in-game photos and stuff like. I'm doing it in this game strictly because you can if you land on the moon of a planet, you can set yourself up where the planet is actually in the background. Your ship's on one side, planet's in the background. You can pose your player, take a photo, edit it anyway to look any way you want, and then the loading screens. As you're traveling, the loading screens will actually, instead of being a normal standard loading screen, it'll actually vary your loading screen based on the photos you've taken from each planet and stuff that you've been to. So those will be your loading screens from now on. All the pictures I've taken in the game, I don't get any normal loading screens for the most part anymore. It's all just pictures that I've taken throughout the game, which it's given me a reason to actually use the photo mode. Whereas before, like, because I'm not big on posting stuff on Twitter or anything like that as far as gameplay stuff goes, so it's given me a reason outside of that to actually use the photo mode, and it's cool because you're seeing so many different planets and shit.
Yeah.
So now that we've got through all the negatives, now we got to do the positives. The reason
I got one more negative.
Oh shit! Here we go.
This annoys the shit out of me because NPCs, Vasco. I'll be in the middle of a fight, and he'll just like run out of nowhere somehow, get in front of me, and I can't shoot the enemy player anymore. And a lot of times, I can't actually move away from him because he's trapped me in a corner somewhere. And this has happened with my players on my ship, where I can't get to my cockpit because they're just talking in the hallway, and you can't get past them. But Vasco is constantly like running in front of me and trapping me in places. So
I wonder if that's more of a. I've had it a little bit, but not to the extreme. I wonder if that's more of a Vasco issue because he is so big and bulky.
Yeah.
Because I pretty much as soon as I got the opportunity, Vasco is not with me anymore. I got the other NPCs. So I'm wondering if it's maybe a Vasco issue. So maybe if you try putting somebody else as your on your ship, like.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe that'll fix that problem because I really haven't ran into that. Now I have ran into it where they'll run in front of me for a second while I'm shooting, but not where they've got me stuck or anything of that nature. But
yeah, like he'll just run in front of me like here, and I can't get out now.
Yeah, get rid of him then.
Eventually he'll move like slightly, but. He does it to me all the time.
Leave his ass at the lodge.
Yeah.
Fuck that big bulky motherfucker.
Yeah, I take him to carry stuff, but honestly, I just learned that I can load up the other people too. So, like.
Oh yeah, you can set people like. I think I've told you, don't worry about outposts, don't worry about things like that, and like. Eventually, you'll want to get to them, but like as you progress through the game and you attribute your skill points and stuff, all of that stuff gets so much. Like if you try to do it in the beginning of the game, I tried it a little bit at the first. And I just didn't have enough. You needed so much research shit to be done to do that. You need so many resources. You're not able to carry that much at the beginning. Once I increased my carrying capacity, once I made it to where I don't need as many resources to do research and stuff like that.
Yeah,
like it's so much easier to do that.
I just increased my carrying capacity. I'm at like 145 now too.
Yeah.
Which was another thing that just took me a while to. I wasn't paying attention. I was like, why am I running out of breath so fast? You're just constantly learning things to do in this game. Like it's never ending if you want to get really into it. But you really got to pay attention to the mass of your weapons, your clothes, resources, all that kind of stuff. Or you're going to run out of breath really quick, and it's going to take forever to do anything.
Yeah, encumbrance is a bitch. I will say, going through the story has explained a lot more. I think maybe that's why I'm learning quicker. If I would have just went off on side missions and been doing side missions, I probably would still be running into problems, and maybe the game would be a little bit more annoying for me at this point than it is. But because I've been doing so much of the story, you gradually, as you get through the story, the story is almost like a story tutorial. You know what I mean? It's like they give you an interesting story to play that teaches you how to play this game, and once you're done with the story, you know everything. You got to experience what the story is. Everyone's been talking about New Game Plus. I haven't started New Game Plus just because I want to. There are some things that I want to do outside of the main story before I jump into New Game Plus. I will be doing that, but I will say the story is pretty fucking cool for a sci-fi story. Like I know what New Game Plus is going to be. Having finished all of that, I know what it is. It makes sense why there is a New Game Plus. So unless you got any negatives, we'll just jump full force into positives.
Yep.
Positive exploration's awesome, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we've kind of mentioned some positives.
Yeah.
This is a great game. It's so much to do while we were talking about the negatives. But
biggest thing, exploration and story. I haven't gone too far off the beaten path, but I've been able to explore. I'm pretty sure I've done well over 100 planets at this point. It's been fun seeing all the different ones now, and I have seen on Twitter and YouTube just planets that I haven't been to that are even cooler than the ones that I have just in the main story. So I'm excited to go check all that out. The story's great. The gunplay I think is pretty fucking good. Especially I have played Fallout, and I know a lot of people want VATS back. I wasn't a big fan of the VAT system. Honestly, that was outside of just the environment and stuff like that. I wasn't a fan of the environment in Fallout, and I didn't like VATS, so I think that's why I'm sticking with this one and really loving this one more. The gunplay is great. The variety of weapons is cool. They do have rare, legendary weapons and stuff like that, which is cool.
And rare. Yeah. But even like I was talking about, like if you kill somebody and pick off a legendary weapon from them, it doesn't tell you if it's better than the one you're already using.
Oh, if that shit's yellow, I'm keeping it.
Yeah. But I may have, there's 10, 15 different versions of each gun. And you may have a rare that's better than the legendary, depending on its modifications as.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I'm keeping it.
Legendary. Legendaries. I know there's purple, which is, I think purple's the rare, right?
Yeah.
I know there's the purple rare weapons that are
rare
better
and legendary.
That are better than the legendary weapons. I'm keeping the legendary just because I can't bring myself to get I don't give a shit if the rare is better.
Yeah.
I'm keeping the legendary.
But pick up every single bit of ammo that you find because it does not take up any mass. And some of those guns that you'll find that are really good, the ammo is a lot harder to find. So always keep your ammo on you.
I have heard a complaint about ammo, like people running out of ammo a lot. I keep
running out of those legendary weapons and epic weapons.
I keep enough weapons to fill out my weapon wheel, and that's it. I have my weapon wheel's full, so I probably have 8 or 9 weapons on me at all time. I pick up every single piece of ammo that I've had throughout. I've never been out of ammo. Yeah. Definitely don't rely on one weapon to get you through the whole game. I have, like I said, 8 or 9 different weapons. Each one of them probably, I haven't went through and looked for sure, but probably takes a different type of ammo. But having that variety of weapons, I've always got ammo to shoot somebody.
On most guns I always have ammo on, but the laser ones, like the 2K laser and the 3K lasers for the Equinox and the I can't remember what the other one is called. It's a little harder to find.
Yeah.
And they're going to be like yellow and green cases of ammo that you find.
Well, I've just heard a lot of people saying, I never have any ammo. I never have any ammo.
I always have ammo.
Yeah.
It's just some of those guns, though, it takes a lot longer the further you get into the game to kill the enemies.
Yeah. And I'm wondering if those people are only carrying 2 or 3 weapons with them.
Yeah.
Instead of loading up their weapon wheel or something like that. And maybe that's what I should be doing to keep my encumbrance down, but fuck that. If I get in a firefight, I'm not I'm not meleeing somebody. Like, I'm shooting them. Let's see, what else? The variety of missions, I think, is pretty cool. The fact that where I'll be following a mission that I'm going to. I'll pull up in my starship or my spaceship or whatever to the planet where I need to go, and then all of a sudden this other spaceship comes up, hails me, and it's like, hey, I'm trying to sell you insurance on your ship or some shit like that. Like, funny shit like that happens all the time. There's humor in this game. There's a variety of different stories. You can pick to join the Crimson Fleet, which are pirates. You can pick to join the UC Vanguard. I haven't joined anybody.
I'm staying with Constellation right now.
Yeah, I'm doing the same. I'm pretty sure you stay with Constellation even if you do join the other stuff. Just because Constellation's kind of what you need to get through the main story of the game. So I'm pretty sure even if you join those other ones, so if that's what's keeping you away from it, if you want to stay, I'm pretty sure.
No, I just don't want to go off into more side missions while I'm trying to get the game done.
Yeah.
I'll do all that later. Like, I think you'll be playing this game for a couple years, honestly. But I don't know. Another thing that's took me a while to figure out is sometimes you grab to a planet and you're automatically already getting shot at by enemy ships. So turn everything off on your ship. Turn all your weapons off on your ship. Turn your grav off on your ship, and keep your engine as low as it'll go, and they won't detect you. And that way you can actually finally land.
I actually didn't know that until you told me that.
Yeah. So because I kept trying, and I'm like, what is going on? Like, as soon as I would get there, I was being shot at, and you can't land when you're in the middle of a combat. So you'd have to fight them, and I didn't have a good enough ship. So finally I was like, because there was one mission where it told you to do that, and I was like, all right, well, let me try that again. And finally, I've been doing that ever since. Just turn everything off when you're driving into another planet in case there's enemy ships there.
And also, if you ever need to, you can always drive away. So if you're in a battle, because I've been in the same thing where I've pulled up and there's like 10 ships, and all of a sudden they're all aimed at me, and I was like, there's no way I can fight 10. Like, I can take 3 or 4, but 10's too damn much. So what you do is you turn down everything off. I keep my shield on. I fire up my grav drive as high as it'll go. Pick the next closest place. I go there, and then you can just grav drive away. You need to have your grav drive powered all the way up, though, because the higher you have your grav drive powered up, the faster that time is. So instead of it being like 5 seconds, 5 seconds might be the difference in your ass being blown up in the middle of space or you getting away. So fire up the grav drive all the way, go to the next planet. You can a lot of times just go back after escaping, and then they'll be gone too as well. So that's an option. There's so many little things you'll learn throughout. Sometimes it's through frustration. Sometimes it's just, oh shit, I accidentally pressed this button too much. Oh, I didn't know I could do that. Like, you can just pick objects up instead of like them automatically going into your inventory.
How do you do that?
You just hold down A instead of just clicking A. Okay. You hold down it. So if ever you see like some cred sticks on a table and you don't want to be a thief, take a little bucket, set it down by the table, you grab an item, you use that item to scoop them cred sticks into the bucket that you set down by the table. You pick up the bucket, you go to a corner where no one can see you, and you just steal them all.
Something I do need to figure out is, for some reason, I stopped being able to go invisible. And I don't know if it's because of the suit I put on, or something I changed in my skills, or what.
It's your suit.
My suit?
Your suit. There's
because I'm wearing a pirate suit, I think.
Yeah, there's certain suits that is their power.
Okay.
Their power is whenever you duck down, you go invisible.
Okay.
So if you put on a different suit, then like a lot of times, like the rare and the legendary suits are the ones with power, but they won't have, like, you'll get another suit that's stronger as far as defense and stuff like that goes, but they have, so it's you're picking what you want.
Yeah.
You can either have more defense and shit like that, or you can have this suit that's got decent defense, but you can go invisible and shit.
Yeah.
So
what's the benefit for me registering my ship? I can modify it at that point, but why should I register my ship? Can you send out multiple ships at one time to different planets?
Not that I know of.
Yeah, I don't know why we should have them all then.
Because some of them...
Because you can assign them to different ships too, your people.
Yeah, but some of them are better for certain things. So if I'm going somewhere if I'm going on a mission where I know I'm getting in a battle, like a ship battle, I'll pick my ship that's better for space battles. If I just need to go collect resources, I'll pick my ship that's not as good in battles, but it's got a bigger storage. Yeah. So that's the main reason that I can see. If you don't feel like you need multiple ships, that's a way to get a lot of credits. Go steal some ships, turn back. I think in order to sell them, maybe they have to be registered, but I haven't had to register anything. I haven't.
Yeah. Well, I know you have to do it in order to modify them, but it's like 10,000. Yeah, it's like 10,000 credits to register a ship. But I was like, I don't think I have a good enough ship yet that I'm even worried about modifying it, so I'm not going to register it.
Yeah. I haven't modified any of my ships.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was like, all right, what's this modify do? Oh, you have to register first.
Like,
go to register, it's like 10,000 credits. I'm like, nah.
Yeah, I wanted to get through the main mission because I knew I was gonna do New Game Plus, so I didn't want to start doing all that shit, liking my ships and liking, you know what I mean, doing all the work to. Because I mean, you can sit in that ship builder for hours. I feel like to make the kind of ship. Like, my plan is, once I'm ready and this is going to be the world that I'm staying in, like, I'm making the Milano. I've already got, like, my bases, it's a couple of outposts that I know that I'm going to end up building up called Gamora and Groot and Drax. And so, like, I'm building the Milano. I got all my bases named after the Guardians of the Galaxy. My character's name's going to be Star-Lord. And we're gonna roll from there. I'm gonna make him look like Chris Pratt, and I'm playing Guardians of the Galaxy from there on out. Like that's how I'm gonna roll with it.
Well, I'll tell you all the streamers that you're seeing doing these big ships and things like that. Like, you're not gonna be able to do that quickly.
It's in-game.
This is players that this is what they do for a living, and they're playing it all day long, nonstop. Streaming and stuff. So just be patient with it, and eventually you'll be able to do it. But it takes a lot longer than you would think after watching those videos. So
yeah, and I have the last little thing I'll kind of say about Starfield before I just like finish up completely is I've heard a lot of people say that they felt like it started very slow. I didn't feel that way. I felt like I got in and I kind of jumped right into it. Like I didn't feel like it started slow for me at all. Maybe and again, that I think goes into you kind of get what you get out of it. Like, depending on what you do. Like, I feel like the game started up immediately. Like, once you got out of the little mining cave, like, it was off to the races for me. I don't know if your game started that way, because, again, it depends on who you talk to and shit. So.
It was a little slow at first, but it wasn't bad. Like, it didn't... Like, it all depends on your responses again, too, because you can be an asshole in the game, or you can be just... say whatever you think they want to hear, and then it just kind of goes smoothly. Not only that, but certain things you say will give you different side missions as well to constantly start doing stuff. So it is all based on your response to each person, how this game is going to play out for you.
And I'll tell you this too, at some point you're going to jail in that game.
Yeah, I already went to jail for stealing a med kit out of the doctor's office.
They make sure you're going to jail. So just be prepared, don't be upset. You're going to jail. There's a reason for it.
Yeah.
So I'll end my Starfield with just I love the game.
It's fun.
This is definitely going to be a game where I'm playing it heavy right now. Mortal Kombat comes out Tuesday. Spider-Man comes out on the 20th of next month. I'll probably put it down a little while for that, but it's definitely a game that I'm going to put down, pick back up later. It's going to be a long tail game. I'm gonna keep playing.
I just saw some of the developers that now that Spider-Man's done and brushed up and everything, they're jumping onto the Wolverine project. But
wait,
like I've said before, I'm not big on single player games. This is the first single player game, and I couldn't tell you how long that stole my attention, and I'm loving it. I'll give it an 8 to 9, but.
If you like Mass Effect, the closest comparison I can make is it's Mass Effect times 10. You know what I mean? Like, the story in Mass Effect was probably one of the best stories you'll ever play. This one's not quite there, but it's not far away, in my opinion. but the amount of shit you can do as far as like you feel like you're living in space if you let yourself get into this game, like it's up there with Mass Effect for me, but you get to do all this extra shit as well. So I'm loving it. I hope if it is on Game Pass, so there's no reason not to check it out if you have Game Pass. Give it a try. Like I said, Spider-Man 2 October 20th, Mortal Kombat September 19th. So we'll be talking about that next week and let you know how we feel about that. Other than that, I think that's it.
All right. Y'all have a good week.